Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We've seen several pretty surprising changes to the Warzone meta over the course of the past couple of weeks. Of course, the Season 2 update itself included a decent amount of weapon tuning, but since then we've seen a few additional changes. We've also gone through and detailed some more in-depth information on certain guns that really highlights how some guns are way better than we initially thought. And with Season 2 Reloaded on the horizon now, and with presumably another large weapon update coming with that patch itself, today I wanted to prepare for that a little bit and go through our rankings of all the weapons here in Warzone, breaking down the Warzone 2 meta and sort of adjusting things as needed and updating some things where we haven't in quite some time. So we are here on the tier list, and like I said, we haven't updated this in a bit, and that's pretty apparent based on where certain weapons are currently standing in the meta, right? So I've got my list of things that we need to go ahead and adjust here. First up, we have a new weapon. We haven't looked at this list since the Crossbow was added in. That said, this is not going to make a huge impact on the meta. This is a niche tier weapon. I mean, it's fun to use. You can put on like the bolts and whatnot, and it's you know, a very unique weapon that's fun to mess around with. But in a realistic competitive scenario, no one's going to be choosing the Crossbow, right? So it's not going to have any major impact towards any realistic category here. It's not absolute meta. Now, maybe if it was crazy broken, it'd jump out of niche, but I don't see it really ever changing there, if I'm being honest. Now, initially, the first day of release, when we had gone through and played some and leveled up the broadside, it didn't seem like it was anything crazy. And then it was discovered just how good the Dragon's Breath are on it. And then also the fact that it can have that 25-round drum. And it's pretty obvious that right now the broadside is in the absolute meta category. Now, that said, I would be shocked if the broadside was not severely nerfed either between this video going live and the launch of Season 2 Reloaded, or with the Season 2 Reloaded update. I mean, the thing is very broken right now. Close range, sure, there are some great subs. We're going to talk about some of them, you know, increasing in popularity and value here in this video. But if somebody has a broadside, none of that matters because it's going to fry. It's insanely busted right now, way overpowered. I highly anticipate that's going to get nerfed, but as it stands, we want to be true to the current meta. It is an absolute meta weapon. Now, on the flip side, the Fennec obviously caught some large nerfs. Initially with the Season 2 Reloaded update, it wasn't anything all that crazy, but then they went through and severely nerfed it because they added the extra damage to plates, which really destroys its TTK close range, making it one of the slower options in comparison to some of the other top tier ones like the Lockman sub, like the Vosnev. So really now this is just a competitive SMG. It's not really anything all that crazy. The mag size obviously is a huge hindrance to some because you do run out of ammo so fast. So the Fennec nerf was actually really well done in my opinion. Another weapon that has definitely dropped off now is the TAC V. For some reason, they just went all in on knocking down the TAC V. It wasn't a super easy weapon to use, but it had a ridiculous TTK, and then they just destroyed the damage. So I'm going to say it's more now of a competitive weapon than anything else. I don't think average, it's not sinking that low, but it's certainly not something that is like crazy good now. So you could use it and get away doing well with it if you are a good player, but for most people, it's not something that's going to be wildly used. Now, on the contrary, a lot of the other battle rifles saw some significant buffs, and we've actually talked about these in a video recently where if you're looking at the stats between the semi-auto version of some of these TAC rifles, or battle rifles rather, and the fully auto, there were some really good builds out there that have extremely good TTKs. So for instance here, Lockman 762 bumping up to competitive, absolutely, in my opinion. The full auto version of this has a phenomenal TTK. The SO14, same deal. It honestly is competitive. Now keep in mind, when you do end up changing the properties of the gun and go from single fire to full auto, it is going to make it a bit harder to use in terms of the control. The muzzle flash or like the smoke's going to be a bit more noticeable. There are certain drawbacks to it, but if you are landing your shots and you can master these guns, they're definitely very competitive, absolutely deserving of being in this category. And same deal with the FTOC Recon as well. Although this one is slightly better in single fire versus full auto, it's one that can be kind of spammed. Its capacity is kind of meh, but its damage is really good now after all the buffs that it's received. Also, while we are going through everything here, quick reminder, if you are new to the channel, every single day I'm your one-stop shop for everything you need to know. Obviously, with Season 2 Reloaded coming up, we're gonna have plenty of update coverage videos, meta update videos, everything like that. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications if you're interested. And if you guys enjoy this video, let me know by dropping a like on it as well, would be really appreciated. And I do want to give a quick shout out to my friends over at Gamer Advantage. Of course, every single face cam video you guys see me rocking the frames, I love my Horizons. I swear by them from the second I sit down in this room to the time that I step out for the night. They are on. They are game changers. If you were looking at screens for long periods of time, whether you're creating content, working on school, doing work, whatever the case may be, these are for you. They offer prescription or regular lenses, plenty of different frame options, and Code Immortal gets you a nice little discount at checkout. Link for that will be down in the description below. Now, here's some changes that I'm really excited to talk about. Previously, a lot of these SMGs we just thought of as mediocre, but because of all the changes that have been happening over time, a couple have really risen in overall value here. The PDSW, the P90. I mean, in my opinion, it absolutely is top tier, and frankly, the only reason I'm not keeping it in absolute meta is because I don't think there is one SMG in particular that is absolute meta, but it is now one of the top options, as we've talked about previously, over the close to mid-range areas for subs. The P90 actually has like the best TTK in the game, also has extreme mobility, so it absolutely is a fantastic SMG choice right now, and one that I would highly recommend. Another one that's kind of the same deal is the Vel 46, the MP7. This one has seen some small tweaks here and there, but also with other SMGs being nerfed, it's sort of inadvertently become a lot better, and also now finds itself at the top in terms of having a phenomenal TTK over range. It's a little bit slower than maybe the P90 or the Vosna, but still a really good choice. And overall, I mean, the SMG meta in particular right now is thriving, I would say. Like, it's a super competitive category with a lot of really good options. And then frankly, I do feel like we need to bump up two weapons into that absolute meta category, that being the Chimera and the 74U. These weapons are so similar to one another. The Chimera still slightly edges out the 74U in terms of TTK. I also prefer the feel to it, but others may prefer the feel of the 74U, and they're so close to one another, oftentimes outgunning all these SMGs in the close range, while still having a fantastic mid-range, capability as well, because they are assault rifles, makes them really two of the most dominant options for close to mid-range, whether you're trying to use an AR SMG hybrid, whether you're trying to use them as sniper support, whatever the case may be. They are really, really good options. The meta is definitely leaning towards a direction that is very open and very welcoming. Obviously, we've got a lot of really solid choices here. The RPK is on the verge of maybe getting knocked down some. The M4 could be going up some. We'll have to see how things shake out here in the future, but I did want to make sure we have an up-to-date and accurate list heading into Season 2 Reloaded. That way we wouldn't have to, backtrack on a bunch of changes that we haven't covered yet. So bit of an update and a bit of a, catching up video here, but re-ranking everything. And quite frankly, the meta is trending towards a very solid spot. Let me know down in the comments below any weapons you guys want to see maybe buffed or nerfed to balance things out. I think I've got my eye on one here in specific, right? But that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications. That way you can always guarantee you're up to date with all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.